Happy Sunday, and good to see everybody. I know people are still arriving. I'm just stirring my beverage here. I got lemon honey water, and I'm getting the honey integrated here. So we will just take a moment and let our friends arrive. So happy to have April here today, and Haya is here. We got a full staff. I even have a co-pilot. We are fully staffed, which is so cool. Okay, so I know before we begin, if we'd like to put our intention in the chat, where are you joining from and what's your intention? I love to take a moment and consider that before forging ahead. So let me add mine. Okay, great. So if you'd like to add your attention, feel free. Here we go. We got 2 Wakefields. This is so exciting. We've got Rhode Island fully represented. Yes, good, Haya. We are both channeling. I love it. I have moved from being like planning every word I'm going to say to more being just showing up. I have a sense, I know where we're going, but I don't know all the words. And that's kind of fun now. So we're going to channel Holy Spirit. Okay, well, I will go ahead and say a prayer. We will get started with a prayer. Okay, so placing my hands on my heart, I'm going to take a nice deep breath. So grateful to join together. So grateful to partner with higher Holy Spirit, the vibration, the frequency of love. So grateful for this gathering, for Jennifer Hadley, for creating this community and providing these opportunities to plug in and connect, to nourish our spirit. So we are consciously opening our minds and hearts, allowing the full flow of love and joy and peace and harmony. We open ourselves to the gifts of God, and we acknowledge our worthiness to receive them, to embody them, and to share them. So in gratitude, we are in trust. We simply allow the flow. We channel the flow. We allow it. We let it be. And so it is. Amen. Okay. So I will introduce myself briefly. I am Angela Potts-Mang'andah. This is Justine Mang'andah. We are happy to be here. We have been here many occasions, but if it's your first time, I am hosting today and I will be speaking today. And Jennifer, our typical host and leader of this beautiful community, she is at a retreat right now, or wrapping up a retreat that she's doing, an online retreat called Stop Playing Small. And so we've got a group of people gathering together. Well, we don't have to say busting through the barriers, but who knows, they're just dissolving beautifully and easily. But they're gathering, and I love being able to fill in for Jennifer so she can do other work, powerful work with a group of people. So they are working on our behalf right now. So, and we have Chaia May, who's here to do our music, and Chaia is a dear friend of mine. She has taught Justine piano, and we've just had a lot of beautiful times together. So I will introduce Chaia, and then she will do our first musical inspirational piece. So Chaia is presently working at the Rhode Island Philharmonic Music School in Providence, Rhode Island, teaching voice, piano, and guitar for all ages, as well as group classes for young children. She studied voice, theater, and storytelling and performed as a folk and jazz singer for many years. Chaia composes songs and loves to express her spirituality through music, poetry, prose, and movement. Chaia loved when she led a movement to prayer class for women, incorporating yoga, dance, meditation, poetry, and song. Booklets and CDs are available of her work, and we will mention that later on as well. So I will pass it to you, Chaia.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, I would say I just went to turn myself up, but you're the first person I have heard talk besides myself.
Okay, good. Well, thank you, Angela, for such a nice introduction. Happy to be here, and I'm going to sing a song I know is familiar to everybody, probably. And the choice came through that we had a service this morning where I was about water being mutable and change and a model for flowing. Actually, that really goes, doesn't it? And so also the sun came through to me as something also mutable and flows in and out, but brings as much joy as anything else. And subtly, it doesn't impose it. It just allows us to feel better, if it's not too much. So it's called Here Comes the Sun. Here comes the sun, doo 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 doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Little darling, the smiles returning to our faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. Little darling, I feel the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. You.
We do our sign language class. I was looking for the sun emoji. That was beautiful, Chaia, and we heard your voice clearly, but I'm not sure you have the sound setting for.
Oh, I was worried about that.
Because I think then sometime the guitar was competing with your voice, even though
How do we fix that?
isn't that's a setting on the audio for the musician.
Okay, so under setting.
Maybe it's something that.
If you go into your audio and go into audio settings,
Oh yeah, audio.
and there's an audio profile.
Select
and
the
then
microphone.
And it says original sound for musicians or live performance audio. I'm not sure.
Audio settings. Oh yeah. Output. Background. Original sound is checked. Yeah. I'll
Okay,
put
do you
it.
want it's already checked?
Right. Yeah. It is.
Okay.
Then I think at the top it should have like if you go in where it says sign in and then There's a view, there's original sound for musicians. If you hit that, then it'll turn it on.
So not in settings, but in.
Correct. It's like all the way at the top.
Oh yeah, there it is. Oh, it was there. Just when I clicked on it, it went away. Okay, wait a minute. Original sound. Oh, it's off. Yeah. How do I turn it on? When I go
Just
to
click on the where it says off.
Oh, okay. It keeps disappearing when I move the arrow to it. Okay. Oh, it's so weird. It just goes off when I touch it. All right, I'll work on that.
Okay. You can always disappear and come back if you want to leave and come back.
Okay, let me see.
No, it's just, it reminds me of the thing on the Nintendo where you're like, just blow on the game, you know, like the classic thing like this could work.
So great.
Okay, good. Thank you, April. Great instruction. You've got the inside scoop here. Okay, well, thank you. Here comes the sun. Beautiful. I am so happy to be here because I'm going to do a little follow-up from last time. I was here a couple weeks ago and I spoke about forgiveness and I was talking about the Million Acts of Forgiveness campaign that we started, and that really my contribution, how I said, okay, I'm going to do 1,000 acts of forgiveness myself. And Jennifer, you're here. I'm so happy because I'm like, I have to get you your info. And today I thought, let me share a little bit about how it's going, how I'm doing it. And I have a great story to share about my first submission, my first entry, and someone that I was irked by, and then I had like a miraculous encounter with after I had done that letter, after I'd done the work. So I'm excited. And how cool that today, lesson 249, if I'm accurate, I think that's correct. Can anyone verify that today's lesson 249? No, not exactly. Okay. I believe it is. I've been doing my daily lesson before I do my forgiveness letter. And the lesson for today is forgiveness ends all suffering and loss. And I'll just read because it's short, but it says, forgiveness paints a picture of a world where suffering is over, loss becomes impossible, and anger makes no sense. Attack is gone and madness has an end. What suffering is now conceivable? What loss can be sustained? The world becomes a place of joy, abundance, charity, and endless giving. It is now so like to heaven that it quickly is transformed into the light that it reflects. And so the journey which the Son of God began has ended in the light from which he came. And then it says, Father, we would return our minds to you. We have betrayed them, held them in the vice of bitterness, and frightened them with thoughts of violence and death. Now would we rest again in you as you created us. So again, forgiveness ends all suffering and loss. So how perfect. And I've been thinking about this kind of a little bit like, why am I doing this? Why would I commit to the 1,000? I told you guys last time, I get a bit excited about being on these long epic journeys with like numbers like thousands and as something about those, I like having a quest. So there's that going on likely. And also though, for me, this is all about purification. And I remember, like I wouldn't have said that, oh, my greatest goal in life. Like I wouldn't have said in high school, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wouldn't have said pure and holy. I remember what I actually put in my high school yearbook, because they asked the seniors, what do you want to be? And some of us decided to go a little lighter on it. like not like serious. And I was like, I think I put Dunkin' Donuts manager because I wanted to, I guess I wanted an unlimited supply of donuts at that point, which is, it just was like, I just took it lightly. And that would be hard for me now to be the manager of Dunkin' Donuts with the purification path that I'm on. I would not go well, but Justine would be maybe excited to have more access to that. So purification is what I have landed on, is a worthy quest, and the purification of our minds as we, I feel like if you're here listening to this right now, I feel like mostly you have taken value in the purification of your mind, knowing that in the Course, we are told by Jesus that well, in truth, our mind is the mind of God. We want to really just remove all the blocks to purity, all the blocks to the light. And I do also remember one of my most challenging moments in my time as a Masterful Living student. So Masterful Living being Jennifer's year-long course. You know, you're in a year-long course and life is going to happen, and life happens, and life was happening. And something really challenging came up for me. And I remember calling Jennifer, distraught, and she was so wonderful because, you know, she didn't say, well, Angela, you're never upset for the reason you think. She didn't do that, because I was sad. I was struggling. And she just said, oh my gosh, you know, she really was very, very compassionate. And then I remember her, like I guess, her practical tool that she gave me were the purity affirmations. And I am the purity of love. I am the purity of light. Or so she said, she said, I recommend you repeat, I am the purity of love. And at the time I thought, seriously, is this my lifeline right now? Like this feels, you know, it was challenging. And yet it came back to me as I was thinking about today, just that the forgiveness work is the purification. And it's funny because like I'm doing the like physical cleansing of my body, purification. I just spent like 3 hours cleaning my basement today. You know, I'm just all about the purification. It's like on every level, you know, which you can't necessarily, like that's all going to be an ongoing process, right? Like you don't just take out the trash in your home once, and you don't take out the recycling once. It's a constant purging. And it's just that I'm committed to it. I'm committed to it. So here we are, where I said I'm doing 1,000 acts of forgiveness, and I think I've done 5. So we're on the way. Okay, we're on the way. Imagine it was 1,000 miles, or it was 1,000 days. We're on day 5, or we've done 5. And so I'll tell you a little bit about the first one, but I just want to actually share my screen for a second and show you guys. And I will put this link in the chat because Jennifer, I wanted to get you this last time. And then I'm like, shoot, I got to get this to Jennifer because I think you mentioned you were going to be on board with this quest. Maybe I'm correct. So here we go. This is the survey that we created, and it's the Million Forgiveness Miracles Survey. And there's a thank you here, and there's a definition of a forgiveness miracle, which again is a shift in consciousness from fear to love through releasing the attachment to the meaning or interpretation made about things in the past. So what I do every day is I come down here and I put my name in. Just going to show you, and I'll just put, and then I just wanted to show you what the questions are. So the core forgiveness miracle questions: describe the situation that was bothering you, that you were holding a grievance or grudge about. What happened that helped you see it differently? And how has participating in this process, in the forgiveness process, made a difference in your life? What changed internally? What changed externally? So I'll stop there and I'll tell you a little story about going into Staples. So I go into Staples and I had an Amazon return or something. I had an Amazon pickup and I'd never done an Amazon pickup at Staples. So I was standing in the wrong area. Like, so I went over to like the printer because I've not done it. And then there's this guy behind the printer. He's like way in the back, you know, he's doing the printing. There was no one at the front. There was a lady nearby who appeared to be just very slowly breaking down a box and looking off into this, you know, just like looking, staring off into space, breaking down a box. This man is over there and I think he saw me. So I'm standing there and I feel like no one's even helping me. But for a second, I'm like, okay, no one's helping me. And then the guy behind the printing, finally, he pipes up and says, "What are you trying to do?" And I'm like, what kind of customer service is this? Because I just was like, first, nobody's rushing to help. And I was clearly standing there for a few minutes. And then when he asks me, he says, "What are you trying to do?" And he seems annoyed. And I'm like, so right off the bat, I did not like that. I just thought, guys, you need a little more training in customer service. Because who says, "What are you trying to do here?" It just was like, I'm being accused of something. I just was like, wow. So instead of "how can we help you," it's "what are you trying to do here?" I'm like, return an Amazon thing. So he's like, "over there." And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, thank you. But there just was this abrasive feeling, this feeling of not, and because my personality is more, my personality really leans into making people feel welcome. So I'm not saying, maybe I would, let's just say I was one of these people and I was having a bad day. I could have a bad day, but it just felt like everybody there was off. And then I just started, as I stood there looking around, I saw more evidence of like, these guys are not on point here. Like, and I had thoughts standing in the Amazon line, like, maybe I'll do you guys want some feedback here? Like, this is not going to get you what you want, I don't think. So I was thinking about, I might just like write a review on this or something. So I deal with my stuff and I head out, and I went out with like a very clear idea that these guys could really use probably my superior guidance, or not really, but like, oh, I could really let you guys know how you can improve. So I came home. So I think the next day, it was my very first miracle, like submitted the survey in the morning. So I like to do my forgiveness work in the morning. I wake up earlier than my whole house so that I have that precious spiritual practice time. And I do my yoga, and then I read the lesson, and then I do my forgiveness work. And now from our community, Jennifer has her forgiveness letter template, which she says in the introduction of it, set aside 45 minutes. And there's about 10, maybe more, prompts that you just fill out and complete her forgiveness letter process. And then I know I've talked in the past at Sundays with Spirit about how I use that process combined with the Byron Katie method, where you're questioning your beliefs, you're questioning them, you're turning them around, and you're kind of working with, oh, I thought I knew everything. And then through her questioning techniques, it loosens your attachment And for me, it loosens my interpretation. All of a sudden, I'm questioning what I thought happened, and I'm loosening my interpretation. So as Jennifer teaches, that forgiveness is letting go of the meaning we made of something. We're letting go of our interpretation of something. So through the process of questioning my beliefs and thoughts, that helps me loosen my interpretation. So I did a simple one, and I was going to see, I could even pull up my answers. I did a simple one for that day. Can I find it? Yes. I did a simple, because I have, again, like I said, I've streamlined the process. I did my own writing, and then I entered it into the survey, which we went over the first 3 questions. So it said, describe the situation that was bothering you, that you were holding a grievance or a grudge about. And I said, feeling I did not receive the level of customer service I expect, feeling the staff was very inadequate in supporting me. Then it said, what happened that helped you see it differently? And I said, I recognized that I was upset from having an expectation that the staff, that didn't make sense, could use me to go first. I don't know. Oh, I had an expectation of the staff, and I put myself in that position that Jennifer talks about, is like, she's saying that us light workers, we go first. We go first. We forgive first. We don't wait for the staff to come find us and say, oh, miss, I'm so sorry. We were having, no, we go first. In our families, in our close relationships, we are encouraged to go first, apply forgiveness to every upset. The third question was, how has participating in the process made a difference in your life? What changed internally and what changed externally? And I can add something to this, but I had said, I have a new loving intention to remember I am unconditionally loved and cared for inherently. So I can go first in offering kindness, knowing it will come back. So I decided, instead of walking into all these shops and expecting everyone to fall all over me and take extremely good care of me, it was just a reminder that I went in there expecting, A, they're going to act like me. And then B, just like his phrasing was so caught me off guard that I did go in just with expectations of being taken care of. So that was just good for me to see that I do that. And then what happened was, I went back to that store. I went back to Staples yesterday. And, it wasn't extremely different experience, only that Mr., who I would have called like sort of Mr. Gruffy Pants from the back, he ended up saying, okay, so he was there. And so is another guy in the printing yesterday. So when I approached the desk, not the Mr. Gruffy, a different man said, can I help you? And then Mr. Gruffy goes, wait, I know it. I already know her order. And I had made posters, little flyers with my picture on them, because I'm doing a forgiveness workshops in my neighborhood. And so I printed flyers. And Chaia, you're now on a mission to find them, okay? Because there's like 5 out in the world, but they're going to be, I'm putting them everywhere I can. But he just kind of came from the back and said, nope, don't say your name. I know it. Here is your order. Like, he was on it. And he, in his own gruffy way, he wasn't gruffy this time, but I just could see like, okay, that's kind of his nature. He's just a little bit, what words would you use? Brisk? No, abrasive. I don't know. What's the word I want to use? Brash? I don't know. What do you think? Wait, Chaia, you were unmute again?
I think the word's brusque.
Brusque. Great. Thank you. Okay, brusque. Brash, brisk, brass. Okay, because Chaia's like doing a lot of writing now, so she's on the vocab. So he just came across, though, I got you covered. I know who you are. I know your order. You don't even have to say your name. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. Now, did that happen because I wrote the forgiveness survey? I don't know, but I went in there with a clearer mind. I mean, I think that's the purpose, right? I cleared the past. That's what the survey said. It said, oh, in the beginning, I'd have to go back. It said that our forgiveness miracle is a shift in consciousness from fear to love through releasing the attachment to the meaning or interpretation made about things in the past. So I did my best to clear the past and go in fresh. And then I had a different experience and it tickled me. It was like tickled me on the inside because I thought, look at him. He's coming front. And he came from the back and he just was kind of showing me like, I'm taking care of you. So then I realized, yes, okay, people have different language. They have different ways of doing things. And that guy, who knows? He was like sizing me up on day one, like, what are you trying to do here? Who knows? He saw I had an Amazon thing and he's like, girl, you're over here. But like, you know, I just had a different experience and it made me smile. And that's why I'm dedicating, like I'm committed to this work, is because the idea is we clear the past and we remember, because what I had said in that survey is, I have a new loving intention to remember I'm unconditionally loved and cared for inherently. So, I mean, the more I can commit to that, I am loved and cared for unconditionally, then I'm not going around looking for all the love. I'm not going everywhere looking for it and saying like, oh, you also failed me. Oh, the whole world is failing me. You know, it reminded me like, if I'm not on my A game, my default can be expecting people to be all kinds of ways and then being disappointed by those expectations. So, okay, this is working. So that was fun. And now I'm going to pull the survey back up and show you just how it progresses, just so you can see. So those 3 first questions are mandatory, like it's a required question. So I'm just going to do a test just so we can get to the other ones. My team will get rid of my test. Then the additional questions: how long were you holding on to the unforgiveness before the shift? So, you know, for me, it was a few hours. It wasn't even a full day that I had done my work right away, you know, because it was maybe 12 hours or something. But it could be that you do this survey and you're like, you know, like a recent one I did, I think number 4 was a bigger one. It wasn't a small occurrence at the store. It was a life big one. So, you know, if you were committing to this, it's kind of like if you're weeding your garden and one day you're just pulling the little weeds next to the thing, but the other day you end up going for, like the other day I had to pull out something, but at this point in the gardening here in the Northeast was like a small tree. So that was a big sucker to dig up. All right, it says, what helped you become willing to forgive? What would you say to someone who's holding on to unforgiveness right now? And is there anything else you'd like to share? So I'll just look in at my answer there. And it said, okay, yeah, I held on to the grievance a few minutes. What helped me become willing to forgive? Seeing that I was upset and that I loved myself too much to be upset, which is the second part I want to mention before I close. What would you say to someone holding on to unforgiveness right now? Here's what I would tell them. I said, you're the light of the world. Release all the blocks. Release all that blocks your light. Is there anything else you'd like to share? And I said, I'm grateful this grievance was only minutes due to the loving support I receive. Okay, wait, is that the right? Yeah, yes. Yeah, so it's just saying like, because of all the work that I've done, I wouldn't carry this grievance around. I'm not going to call my mom and tell her, Mom, can you believe these jerks at the Staples are so rude? I'm not going to keep building this thing up bigger and bigger. I'm going to be looking to clear that out of my mind, just like the crap in my basement. Like, I'm not looking to pile it up. I'm looking like, get this out. And yes. And then the survey goes on just so again, you can see the process, and it'll be familiar if you choose to partake. Because again, the point of filling out these surveys is that Jennifer is hoping to, it's like having a way to document what we're doing in our community, because this is what we're taught to do in our community. This is our practice. Our practice is to clear our mind, clear our consciousness, and be a light in the world and not have stuff blocking us. So this survey, the campaign, was a way for us to gather momentum, have something where it's like we are collecting acts of forgiveness, and then having some testimonial about the kind of change it's having in people's lives. So it's that we're all kind of we're doing this work, and this is just one way we can represent it or share it with the world at large. And then this is, okay, what would you say to someone holding a grudge? And then, may we share your forgiveness miracle? So they just give you an option to keep it to yourself. This doesn't have to be public. You have the option to keep it private. You have the option to be reached out to if you want to, and then leave an email address. And then they just give you an opportunity to make a donation if you'd like to, or just share about it. And then also there's a link here to where you can donate, but then also to share the project with others. So you can share the form and give it to other people. So I just wanted to walk you through that process, share one experience I had. And then I guess I will complete this with that statement I said, that I love myself too much to get upset. This is a teaching that Jennifer shared with me, or who knows when, but that thing knocked my socks off, and I'm still digesting it. Because I remember when she taught, I have zero tolerance for self-judgment, and for me, it was a very new concept for someone to have zero tolerance, like someone who says, I will not judge myself. It was like, oh my gosh. And then I feel like she takes it further by saying, I love myself too much to allow myself to get upset. That doesn't mean we're denying feelings and pretending we're not upset. I think it's just that concept. I take it from Rosalind Rourke, where she says, no add-ons. So if something takes place, I'm at Staples, I don't like my customer service, I'm taking that home with me to work on my mind about it. I'm not adding on to the situation. I'm not adding fuel to a fire. I am putting out the fire with the truth. So that has come up for me recently. I reached out to some of the participants in Stop Playing Small, and I had one call where a woman, she's in this experience where she's diving fully into her spiritual practice and even making it a career. And she's having a lot of doubt that this is that this is wise, or that it's naive, or she's doubting herself as a spiritual teacher and as a coach that she is right now. And she said that she filled out the survey for SPS, Stop Playing Small, and she put her whole heart into it. She said, I took so long to do it, and I took the questions so personal. Like I put my heart into the answers, and I went deep with it. And then she said, and then it was like a half a day of my mind doubting everything I said, and doubting that, who do you think you are? who do you think you are doing this? And so we talked a little bit about working with the mind and how the mind does that. And somehow it came up that it was like, for me, that teaching, I love myself too much to get upset. So you end up really becoming masterful at working with your mind. When it seems like someone outside of you is upsetting you, bothering you, not meeting your expectations, disappointing you, for me, it's taking 100% responsibility. But I still feel my feelings. I still do. That's why I like that question. How long did you hold on to this one? Sometimes sometimes it's momentary, and sometimes I notice I'm writing forgiveness letters about the same thing. I'm having more and more opportunities to forgive myself for the same thing because I haven't fully integrated it. And a lot about being a mom and choosing not to respond in a way to make my child feel like she's making the wrong choice, instead of being a loving guide. And so I don't think being a loving guide means you're always, that you don't become firm. I don't think that's how it is. But essentially, I love this teaching. I love myself too much to get upset. And I could even say, I love myself too much to stay upset. Maybe that's more appropriate, because we do get upset. It happens. But how long are you going to stay upset? Do you have a practice? Do you have a commitment to clear that out so you can show up the next time and be open to something else? And the way that I'm making such a big deal out of the Staples guy, because I went back like, I want to see this differently. But in truth, I went to the cashier that day. I picked up the printing and thought, oh, that's kind of cool. Then I went to the cashier, and she was like, I think she struggled to be present, but then I'm like sitting right in front of her. I'm like, just stop interpreting everything. Like, like, what if she's doing she really is, that's her wholehearted customer service. That's what she has. And I'm like, okay. So I just love a dedication to this practice too, because it keeps you out in the world questioning your thoughts. Like, you're breaking these things down before they even get built. They don't even get built. Like some type of weed killer, in your garden, where it's like they pop up and boom, they're down. It's like they don't have a chance to grow into a big fat tree. They don't even get a chance. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share today. Forgiveness ends all suffering and loss. And we did put the survey in the chat. And again, okay. We do have it in the chat, right? April, I saw it. Yes, thank you. It's in the chat, and it's something to consider. It's nothing there's no obligation. If that doesn't feel in the flow to you, no worries. But it's just a game I create. I use my ego in this way. It's like, okay, send me on a quest where at the end of this quest, I will have a stronger spiritual practice of some kind. That's kind of how I work it. So thank you for listening. I'm gonna see what Spirit has for us. We'll take this into a little meditation before a song from Chaia. So if you'd like, I'll just take a moment to be still and be present. And whether we use our hearing to tune into the sounds that are close by, and hear them fully. And to use our sense of our body, the way we're sitting, to have an awareness of our physical stature to help us be more embodied. And we are grateful to be present and open to being peaceful now. allowing the flow of peace to us, from us, merging with it. So grateful for our showing up in this moment, showing up to spiritual community. I love to point out that there are so many places we could be, but here to receive nourishment, to remember our function in this world is to forgive. Forgiveness is our function. Because love is our essence and light is our essence. So it is our function to remove all blocks to the full experience of our light, our true magnificence, our pure holiness. We are grateful for A Course in Miracles and every other teaching and teacher who is pointing us in this direction to clear the past. And we are willing to know our mind is the mind of God. And we turn our mind over to God in the form which works for us, whether it's Holy Spirit or higher self, allowing that infinite wisdom to reign. So we are grateful for whatever we personally received from today's sharing, taking that with us. Grateful for the way Spirit organizes everything so that what Spirit asked me to share would hit us right where would be helpful for us now. So in gratitude, we remain as present as possible, open to being in this beautiful flow of love. And so let us rest here, and Haya, whenever you'd like, you can take over. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I appreciated what you said, and it made me think of so many instances that I would like to now put into my own kind of meditation. But I wanted to share something that's really kind of magical to me. A young man, when I was 20 years old, I was in a bus 3,000 miles almost to the bottom of Chile. I was living in Chile for a year. And he gave me this piece of paper with some words of wisdom. And he was probably younger than I was, about 18, I don't know. And I've kept it my whole life. And I had it on every table where I've been, had a place to put it. It's called the Elan philosophy. I just wanted to share it because it speaks so much to what Angela's saying. It's by Michael Fitzwater. I don't know him, but I have to look him up after this. With eagerness of spirit, we shall find ourselves through knowing others. We shall no longer be driven by our guilt and fears, but by our trust and convictions. No longer dwelling on the unreal and unattainable, we must use the tool of trust to distinguish between what is needed and what is desired. No longer alone within ourselves, we must challenge our fears, and this is why I brought this up, and the fears of others, so as to have value in what is found. That to me is still mysterious. Seeing ourselves in the eyes of others shall demand change. No longer encapsulated in our negativity, we must now strive towards positive goals. No longer able to delay, we must now accept responsibility for ourselves and others. We must learn by our mistakes and use them to build a strong foundation Lastly, we must first attack the principles upon which all our opinions were founded and put them in proper perspective. So I think there's so much to this and so deep. So I'm going to sing 2 songs about water. They're both about the rivers of Babylon and the waters of Babylon. And they have different emotional content, I think. By the waters of Babylon, we lay down and wept for thee, Zion. We remember thee, Zion. By the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down, and there we wept when we remembered Zion. For the wicked carry us away, captivity required from us a song. How can we sing King Alpha's song in a strange land, that land of fear? So let the words of our mouth and the meditations of our heart be acceptable in thy sight, over all.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Now our audience members get a chance to share. Those who stay get a chance to be in a breakout and just share what came through for you, and maybe even how you're feeling at this point in the service. It's cool to think of like how we came in and then how we're feeling now. And so anything you'd like to share, anything that's speaking to you, you feel inspired to do, make a decision, anything. So in the small groups, we have 12 minutes to be in a breakout. Please take turns. And if you'd like to just listen, it's okay to take a pass. And we just remind everyone to have an open mind and heart and refrain from unsolicited advice, because it doesn't usually work. Uh-oh. Okay. And so we will head into the breakout now. So you should see that you can join the breakout there at the bottom bar. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. All right. And then Haya, if you'd like, we get a chance to chat here in this will be the Facebook Live. So those who watch on Facebook will get to see us. So anything you want to, anything about this?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there's a bit. So I will myself.
Is it working now?
Well, yeah,
Or just say.
Speak. There's a reverberation.
Huh. Okay, so it's okay to speak now. It's okay.
You can.
Oh, okay. And you asked me anything that I've been feeling from the service.
Yeah, from the service.
Oh, anything. Oh, there's so many things. Forgiveness is huge for me. I keep bringing up the exception and the negative part of whatever wonderful things generally happen, thinking it's not supposed to be that way. Why is this taking away from what I really am enjoying? There's this one thorn in my skin or whatever. And so the words are really useful. And humility is a lot of it. And I think that this week I was writing to finish a piece that I had to submit to my teacher for publishing. So I was all excited. It's about being a mother. And so I sent it to my kids and I said, you have veto power, you have editing power, whatever you want to do. And my first daughter said, Mom, that wasn't kind. I even felt contempt, like you were blaming me for your problems in parenting, like I was a difficult child and made your life terrible. I said, oh my gosh. I had to own it because she believed it would honor her. So I said, Hannah, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to rewrite it. And it made me go deeper into saying, so I was in survival, just like it says. It's not an excuse. It's just the best I can do is not the best what I could do now, and see it from another way and let go of that victim energy that it wasn't my fault and everything circumstantial was the cause. So in the end, I rewrote it. I felt so much deeper and wiser than. And my daughter's so patient and so wise. She to articulate to say, I love you. I know that's the fear that I'm going to abandon you. I love you, and I'm not okay with this. And so she made me feel safe enough to change it. And she's really gotten good at that. So I sent it out and told the teacher that you could change whatever you want. I've changed it. I hope it's okay. And it was fine. So my daughter, and then she sent back, I liked it, Mom. I really liked it. And wow. The whole thing about being a mom, I wrote in the piece itself, I sounded victim-y. I had to overcome that. I'm not here for the blue ribbon. Nobody's perfect, and I thought I could do better. I thought I could do better and was better. So that whole humility was part of and the process of rewriting became more significant than I thought in terms of the writing, the piece itself. So I was really happy to use that as an exercise in humility.
Beautiful.
Thanks. Thank you.
Right, you got two here, so
I see April. Is there someone else?
yeah, me, April.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, would you like to hear April?
Yeah. I really liked the just the thought of the whole expectation thing, how your expectation of getting good customer service kind of filtered what you thought the situation should look like. And then we're upset when it didn't look like that. Like I have been battling with that idea for a while, just with what a good mom is supposed to look like, what a good soccer mom specifically is supposed to look like. Because I look at it like, okay, I'm a soccer mom. When my kid doesn't want to go to practice, am I supposed to make her go? Or am I supposed to honor her in thinking that, she needs rest and she's stressed out, needs to just calm down? So, like, everyone else is probably thinking, okay, this woman is not a good soccer mom because her kids are total whiny babies and they just need to get their butts to soccer practice. And I'm like, but I feel like I need to be a good soccer mom by honoring my daughter's feelings, pushing them to go. But then if they say, absolutely not, I don't want to go, then honoring that. And really forgiving myself for beating myself up for thinking I'm not a good mom because I'm not forcing my kids to go to practice. And I don't know, I feel like it's just that the expectation of what everyone else thinks is a good soccer player or a good person, or you're not going to succeed in life unless you're really pushing hard and you're putting in 150%. And you know, even if you feel like crap, you need to push through. And I'm not making my kids do that. So it's like I have to forgive myself all the time. I'm like, no, that's not what we're doing. We're honoring ourselves, we're honoring our children. And if the rest of society does not agree with that mentality, that's okay. It's okay. So just taking back my expectation of like what everything's supposed to look like and really just honoring the moment for what it is and where it is instead of what it's supposed to be.
Bravo. It made me think of it. What is that book called? I don't know if it's Dragon Mom. No. What's the book? Do you know this book about an Asian mom? She's like, do you know which one it is, Haya? You're muted. Sorry.
Tiger Mom. She was
Tiger
from
Mom.
where I came from, California.
Yes.
It's like the helicopter mom, but she was Asian. She's Tiger Mom.
Yes.
Pushing, pushing, pushing.
Pushing.
And you know, the kids that didn't play, the kids I had from my counselors in my camp were Asian typically. And I asked them what games they played so they could play with the kids when they got there. None of them had played any games. They couldn't mention one. And I said, what happened? Why not? And they said, we're always working, always, driven.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. I totally relate to being in that position of assuming I know how people will view me, or assuming I know how everyone else is thinking. And I remember when Justine didn't want to go to dance anymore. So she did dance last year and we made it through. But age 5, she went a couple times, and then one day when it was time to go, she had like 4 solid reasons why she didn't want to do dance anymore. And it just surprised me that she had this like solid list. One, I think, was that the tights were too tight on your stomach. She's like, I don't like the tights. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. Who likes tight tights? They're too tight. Who wants tight tights? Like cutting off your breathing in your stomach. But another one was, she's like, I just want to play, Mom, because that's when our neighbor is home. And she used to play with him when he got home from school. And there were other reasons. And I thought, oh dear, those are those moments where you're like, okay, but it's so important. Yeah, I guess this is why we want to have like a contract, because we got to lean back on the deeper, honor the most true, sacred, foundational rhythm. But what I also thought of, April, is by you being but by like honoring, by having that be your practice, you can then honor when the world doesn't agree with you. You can honor that different view and be like, hey, I'm here to honor all of us, including you with your opposing view. Like, and yeah, but I love it. It's so hot. It's really so riveting and so much fun to notice what our mind gives us as our first option. Like here, and then we go like, hold on, is that all we have? Are these all the options? Because I'd like to see, and like how the course says, basically, I'd like the whole course premise being there must be another way. And we always, and Jennifer's teaching in the Divine Alarm Clock, like we're upset because we're believing something that's not true. So there has to be another option. That's why every time you're in a forgiveness circumstance or like where there's some type of upset, it's like, well, there's got to be another way too, because this way of being upset it's not really honoring the truth. So yeah, it's good stuff. And man, I swear I almost have a daily thing to fill out just as a mom. Like, can fill that survey out every day. And it's like, oh, wow, this is really dynamic. So those of us who signed up, we stepped up plenty of practice.
What struck me when I wrote is that I feel so close to my children in the way I perceive it, that I felt one with them. So I thought, how can I be so different and not understand them and separate at the same time and not have understanding or empathy for it's they're just different than I from myself. But I learned from my daughter how different her perspective was, and I had to let go that I was right. And she said, Mom, just accepting my way is just all you need. You don't have to change your opinion of it. Just accept. And I learned so much just from that sentence. And at the end of the day, my kids just remember being listened to and honored, and knowing how to be in your body is so important to me right now. And I couldn't teach them because I didn't know. And my daughters had a terrible and terrifying road to get to knowing how to be in their body and trust their gut and listen. And if we listen to them, we're modeling them listening to their own bodies. I can't see that go wrong.
Beautiful.
Mm.
I've started lifting, ask herself, like maybe she asks for something that, like, we're about to go to bed and she asks for something or to eat or something, and I go, ask your body if it feels, why don't you ask your body, is this the thing for me to have right now? And sometimes, what do you say?
Yes.
She's like, oh yeah, my body's really on board with that. And I'm like, not so much a backfire, but like, okay, we got to warm up to this like deeper concept of like, who's talking, the stomach or
Me.
are you your stomach? I don't know.
No.
So, yeah, a lot of fun and a lot of opportunities. So we can just be grateful that this is not a boring game to play, which is called life. Not boring.
Not boring.
No, not boring. You don't seem to run out of, that's why I'm like, if this survey, we should get to 1 million. If we just told like 12 people to fill it out, in a couple years, we'd be done, because there's just, but I do notice that there are things like, I will say this, and welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I will say that I think another cool benefit of being on a committed practice of forgiveness where you're just consciously doing it is that, like, the other day I received a text message from someone that was very contemptuous, that was like a slander at me, and I didn't even blink. I basically completely, well, I saw it and I thought, yeah, I get that. I'm not taking that in. So it also, I think it's kind of the way that you're purging and you're not taking in new crap. Sometimes you're able to say like, no, thanks. I'm not taking that in. That's not like, cause I understood the person. I could understand their point of view, why they would be annoyed with me. And I thought, I get that. And I did a little bit of a defending myself later, but I kind of said, I get it. I didn't even bring it up, didn't register, didn't hit me, didn't bother me. So I think it just kind of works in powerful ways, because it reminds me of, if you're dealing with your clutter and you're removing the clutter from your home, you're just more clear. Like, I'm not taking any more crap. I don't need any more. I'm already full. So there's this way of being on guard of like, what am I taking in that I'm going to need to work on? And I remember Jennifer would say, like, the ultimate thing is when we release our opinions and judgments, there's nothing to forgive. So we end up being like super efficient because we don't have the work to do. So thank you, everyone, for your deep listening. This is our opportunity now just to make a few announcements, and then we get to have one more song with Chaia, and then we'll pray out and we'll go on our way. And we'll go out in the world and see what the world has for us. So for the ministry's purposes, for what's coming up, we're right in the middle of the Stop Playing Small retreat, which I'm so excited for everyone. That is the one program I have not taken, and I can't wait to take that, because I think it's is super powerful. I know it because they spend a lot of time in breakouts talking with each other, working through powerful like questions and finding the ways to break through their own limitations. So I'm so happy for them. Now, after Stop Playing Small, we're like heading into our like major program season. So we're rolling right in to the fall, and we have Finding Freedom coming up. So Finding Freedom is our boot camp. And this is the program where Jennifer shares all the tools that she found on her way earlier on, because it was her teacher, Venerable Dahani Awahu, who ended up saying to Jennifer, like, you have got to share this. You have got to share these tools. You have a roadmap here. You have to share it. So Finding Freedom is her, it's a 7-week boot camp. It's 7 weeks of teachings and practices that come through videos, daily videos. And there's also some community components. So you get to be in a small group with others and sharing about your personal journey. And there are other components as well that make it very powerful. So Finding Freedom is coming up, which is exciting. And then we also have a forgiveness workshop coming up. So we're talking about forgiveness, and Jennifer's doing a monthly free forgiveness workshop. And this month it's the 27th of September. And I've been hearing how super powerful these workshops have become. And I'm excited because I'm going to be teaching them in my area, but definitely leaning into Jennifer's way of doing things and her wisdom. For sure, I will be leaning on her when I do my own. So as always, this is you have an opportunity to support the ministry, support Sundays with Spirit through your donations. So it's kind of like we're still integrating the Million Acts of Forgiveness campaign. That is like one way for you to donate to the ministry. We have our basic donation format too, but the Million Acts of Forgiveness campaign right now, you can offer money for a scholarship to a program, you can make a one-time donation, or you can make a recurring donation. So donation links, we'll put them in the chat if it speaks to you, to support this service and for us to be able to try to execute Jennifer's visions. They are pretty nonstop and very expansive. I would say personally, I can put my email in the chat. It's angela@jenniferhadley.com. If you ever feel called to work with me personally, I am a certified spiritual counselor in this ministry. And I love working with people. So if you feel called, you can reach out. Even if you just want to reach out with a question or ask me something, please feel free. And I think those are all my announcements. So Chaia, I will pass to you, and then you can have the stage and share any announcements and your song.
Announcements. Well, I'm going to do another musical about empowering girls in my position at the Philharmonic at the music school, teaching a musical theater program. So we're starting that there. So if anybody knows anyone who wants to be on stage and sing and dance and move around and have fun, in Thursday evenings, we're going to be doing that starting October 2nd. That's exciting. And I'm here in Wakefield if anyone needs music of any kind, starting from scratch with piano or singing or something. So I'd just like to do this so I feel close to everybody. I wanted to use hand motions so you can see the words too, because some of it's in a different language. So the words in English are: the whole world is just a narrow bridge, is just a narrow bridge, is just a narrow bridge. The whole world is just a narrow bridge, but above all, we should not fear. And I interpret that as not be afraid of fear as well. So I'll sing it in English and in Hebrew. So it goes like this. The whole world is just a narrow bridge, just a narrow bridge, just a narrow bridge. The whole world is just a narrow bridge, just a narrow bridge. But above all, we should not fear at all. But above all, we should not fear at all. Kol haolam kulo geshet tsar meod, geshet tsar meod, geshet tsar meod. Kol haolam kulo geshet tsar meod, geshet tsar meod. V'haikar, lo lefached klar. V'haikar, lo lefached klar. And thank you, everybody.
Beautiful. Thank you, Chaia. Thank you for your music. We were smacking each other on the claps, which was a lot of fun. I know. Well, thank you guys for being here today. Thank you, April, for your steady support. And again, thank you, Chaia. And thank you, Justine. You got a shout out that they were so happy to see you today. So we are grateful to close with a prayer. We are giving thanks. We give thanks to be as awake as we are in this moment, to the blessings that are ours here and now. Grateful for the reminder and the invitation to apply forgiveness as a purification process, to allow us to execute our function, to allow us to clear away the debris of the past, to be fresh and aware and awake and available to the beauty in each moment. We are grateful to know and trust that the Holy Spirit can direct us in the way that is most helpful for us to practice forgiveness. We are grateful to Jennifer. We bless her and the participants of all of our programs for the work they are doing to free humanity. And so we go forth to be the light that we are in deep, deep gratitude. We receive the blessings and we share them. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Thanks for coming. Bye.